Yeah, I'm just going to go for a little bit. So listen, welcome. My name is Lorenzo White, Lorenzo White Restaurants. You're on my YouTube. So if you have any questions or comments, keep them to yourself because I don't want to hear it. Hit the subscribe button. You're only here for one reason. I trapped you here. I run a funnel. I trapped you here. You were on an Instagram page. I told you something that you were interested in. Somehow, some way, I got you to go to the top of that page, click my YouTube link, come to YouTube, and you got sucked into the vortex called winning. Okay? So today we're going to talk about 10 secrets that make you a savage in business. Listen, you got to be a savage in business. It's 2025. We don't have no time to play around, no games. We have to perform. Everything in life has performance pressure. If you don't feel pressure, then you're not living your life as a man. You have to understand that life is about goals, opportunities, and you only got one life to live. And if you don't take advantage of every opportunity given to you, then you're just going to live a life full of regret. The cemetery is full of men who lived lives of silent desperation. But let's get right into it today, fellas. All right, 10 secrets that make you a savage in business. My name is Lorenzo White Restaurants. If you don't know me, I am a prolific restaurateur. I've just a quick background about where I come from. I started out in the restaurant business when I was 15 years old, working in a little sandwich place. I was making $5 an hour. There was a guy standing next to me. He was making $8 an hour. I used to go to the owner and say, how come he's making more money than me? And the guy couldn't explain why. And I realized I need to start changing the relationship I have with money. So I did. Went to school for restaurants. Shortly thereafter, I moved to Atlanta, worked with P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, No Diddy. Opened up a restaurant called Justin's. Worked with another restaurant group. Eventually opened up my own restaurant group. Made millions in business, lost it all, slept in my car, and built it right back into another multi-million-dollar restaurant business that I own today. Only thing I can tell you is it sucks to make a lot of money in business and lose everything. And when I was at that lowest point, there was no YouTube. I had no mentors. Nobody wants to be your mentor. I had nobody to turn to. I made more money than anyone in my family. I was more successful than anyone in my family. Everyone around me was dependent on me. Everybody was looking at me for all the answers. Half the people that were supposedly supporting me turned on me. You don't know who you are until you stare down into that depth of failure, of rebuilding. A lot of people call it rock bottom. And as a man, you don't want to be in rock bottom, but you learn a lot from rock bottom. And I'm probably the only man you're ever going to talk to in your lifetime through this platform that's going to tell you how to go from rock bottom and back up. And here's what I'm going to tell you. It's not easy to get it the first time, but you have nothing to compare it to. When you hit rock bottom, that means you were somewhere and you fell. That's a man who made a lot of good decisions followed by bad decisions, and they paid for them. And the problem with trying to come out of rock bottom is you're always comparing yourself to the rise up from the beginning. And the worst thing you can ever do is start something and be successful and lose it all and try to get back to where you were before. Forget going past that point because you're constantly comparing yourself to the old you. People are comparing you to the old you. Everyone's reminding you of your previous successes. So the reason why I have the answers is because I've had to retrace my steps on where I came from to get back to where I was and then exceed it, because you got to build a stronger platform from where you were. So today we're going to talk about 10 secrets that will make you a savage in business. A savage. You got to compete in this world. 10 ways. First of all, we got to understand some fundamentals. How do you actually make money? There's 4 ways to make money, man. First way is you're going to trade your time, which is called a job. The second way is you take your hands or your mind and you create a skill and you get customers with that skill. The third way is you create employee environments and then they trade your skills and products and services in exchange for money as a customer. So you have a company. And the fourth way is your money makes money. You're an investor. You invest in people. Today we're going to talk about, let's talk about the first thing, trading your time for a job, trading your time for dollars. Trading your time for dollars is a job. A job, the only reason as a man you should be working a job is to learn to earn. That's it. Learn to earn. If you're working a job for a career or something down the road, then you're headed down a road that looks like gold, but it's all fucking dirt. Because a job, you're essentially tying yourself to another man's plan, and that man has no loyalty to you. That man doesn't understand what your goals are. That man is not going to be looking out for your family or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that's not an opportunity. That's an opportunity to learn while you earn. You take that job opportunity and you learn, you make connections. You use that job to make mistakes on someone else's dime, and you use that job to support yourself financially. And it may not, honestly, it will probably never be what you're worth, but you just make enough to make it make sense. You learn what you need to learn, get the connections, and you move into the next phase, which is you take a skill set that you own and you create a customer. I don't care what it is. You find a problem that someone needs solved, and you solve that problem, and you get paid to solve that problem. The third way is create a group of employees. So once you learn your skill and you're able to get a customer, then you start getting employees around you to start trading their time for dollars, and then you scale the business. You start creating more customers. And that's a company. Most people want to jump straight into from a job to a company, but guess what? It takes a lot of time, money, and a lot of risk. The best thing you can do is start with your own skills, create your own customers, because you get to build up a stronger foundation to start a company. You have more money, you have less risk, you have a lot more customers ready to pay you, and you also have a lot of skills and a reputation. So instead of jumping from a job environment to a company environment, you jump from a job environment to where you start selling your skills out, trading your time for money with the customer, and then you start adding employees and build a company. And the fourth way is your money makes money for you, where you're investing in people. That's the first way to be a savage. The second way, you have to understand what your motivation is. Most men are lazy as fuck. Most men are either too distracted by drugs, alcohol, and women, or they don't have any direction, or they just don't even know what it means to be a man. They don't understand that God gave you balls, and you're supposed to get up off your ass and go and work. Go build something. Go make something of yourself. God put man on this earth to build things. That's why everything around you was built by a man, not a woman, a man. A person who had a dream, he saw a problem, he wanted to solve that problem, and he made his life's work to solve that problem. That's the phone you're using. That's the cameras that are on me right now. That's this microphone. Everything was created by man. So you have to build something. That is your job here. That's why God put you here. So what I find when I'm coaching my students is you got to know what motivates you. Most men think that money motivates you, but quite honestly, money doesn't motivate most men. I'm not a money motivated person. A money motivated person, the reason why we think everyone's motivated by money, because the most popular businessmen are money guys. But you're motivated by four things. Yes, money is one form of motivation. If you're a money motivated guy, you like nice things. You like flashy stuff. You like the opulence of life. For lack of a better example, a Donald Trump type entrepreneur, where you just like big and better and new. If you're not that, then you have to figure out what the other ones are. The other way that you're motivated in business is through mastery. This is your competitive spirit. These are men who want to be better than the next man. These are men who like awards and trophies, and they want to be the best. If they're a cameraman, they want to be the best cameraman. If they're a plumber, they have a plumbing business, they consider their plumbing business to be the best in the business, and they stand by their work. So me, I'm a mastery person. I want to be the best. I like to compete. So if someone brings a business opportunity to me and they say, hey, you're going to make a lot of money, it doesn't really get me moving. If I'm broke as shit, yeah, it's going to get me moving. But quite honestly, once you get past that first level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where you're taking care of your basic necessities like food and shelter, you're going to need something else to get you out of bed. And for me, it's competition. It's being the best, content creator right now on this platform that's teaching men how to make money, how to get their health together, how to manage their personal lives with women and family and bring it all together for the good life. That's what motivates me, not money. The third thing you got to understand that will motivate you is movement. If you're a movement person, then you love the hustle. You know, you got two businesses going at one time. You really like to travel. You want to do multiple things, take multiple tasks on. The movement motivator is tricky because those are going to be the entrepreneurs that you see that don't really get a lot done. They're always got their hand in different pots, but they never really complete anything. A movement person, you got to have to pair yourself with someone probably more practical, who kind of is more of an execution. Movement entrepreneurs take on big ideas, but movement entrepreneurs need a person who's more practical to kind of take care of the day-to-day tasks. And so I love movement entrepreneurs because these guys get off on it. They could be broke as shit and have 15 things going at one time. And they just love the idea of new ventures. You put anything in front of them, they want to do it. And that's okay, but you have to pair that up with a more practical entrepreneur. Movement, if you're a movement motivated entrepreneur, you need to get a partner. The last one is mating. You got guys that grew up to be nerds like Bill Gates, and they never really get the credit. They never get the respect. They never get the woman they want. And so these guys generally are motivated by women, building a family, their kids. These are things that get him up out the bed. You can't tell a family guy who's doing it for his family to take care of his mom and dad, to take care of his kids and build a legacy. You can't tell him it's about the money because he's not gonna get motivated. The 4 M's, money, mastery, movement, and mating, are about what motivates you, what gets you up out of bed. Most times we're lazy as fuck. If you're not lazy in the beginning because you're so motivated to get successful, trust me, when you get to a certain point financially, it's hard as hell to get out of bed. It's hard as hell to go back to work. It's hard as hell to get off a vacation. It's hard as hell to go back into a business that's driving you up the wall. It's hard as hell to deal with customers day to day to day. So you have to really find out which M you're motivated by. The third thing we have to understand is how we have to make a customer. The key to business is making a customer. I'm sick of hearing too many men talking about, I want to make money. I want to make money. I want to make money. Money is a tool. That's like saying I want to make a hammer. No, you say I want to make a fucking house and I need a hammer. And you would need money to potentially fuel getting a customer. But making a customer is the foundation of making money. And we're going to graduate ourselves. Like right now, starting right now, we're going to take some of the old concepts that we keep hearing and we're going to get rid of them. No more, again, are we going to say, I want to make money. Stop. Take it out of your vocabulary. Moving forward, from this day moving forward, since you hear the words out of my mouth into your ear, you're going to say, I want to make a customer. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, your job security is with a customer. You have to know who your customers are. The key to a customer is you have to solve a problem. You got to solve a problem. In my business, we're in a quality of life business. We're in restaurants. So for me, for many years, I used to I couldn't figure out what our problem. We're not solving cancer. We're not, we're not curing colds or anything like that. So what problem are we solving in the restaurant business? What am I solving? So I had to really understand when I started traveling out of the country. I always realized, like, wait a minute, if I go to an emerging market, they're going to build an airport, they're going to build a hotel, and they're going to fill them both up with what? Restaurants. And so when I understood, when you look at communities all around America, all around the world, food is always the cornerstone for quality of life. Before restaurants get there, trust me, it looks like a desert. Nobody wants to go. And once you get people going to anywhere, food becomes a part of the culture of the environment. It tells stories. People do business deals over food. People love over food, dating, everything. So I realized I'm in a quality of life business. So in my restaurants, we think about quality of life problems. If a young lady's celebrating her birthday, that's a problem. You got to go celebrate that somewhere. Celebrate it with me. If a guy wants to take his girl on a date, guess what? That's a problem he has. solve it with me. And so every business solves a problem. I don't care what industry you're in, you need to figure out what problem that you can solve for a particular customer. And when we say customer, we're talking about a niche. So there's a saying, there's riches and niches. A niche is essentially a target, a person or group of persons that you can create a fan club out of and solve problems within that fan club. And what you want to do with a niche, the idea is you find a audience that you can solve a problem and turn them into fans first. So essentially, if you're out here and you have a skill set that you want to sell, or you have a company that you're running, in that company, you have customers that are already existing. Within that customer group, you have super fans, people that will, not only will they spend money with you, they'll also tell people about you. They'll tell people about you. I have people that have never been to my businesses and my restaurants, and they tell people about it because they're fans. And that's what you want to create first. You create a fan. This is someone who just loves you, and they love what you're doing, and they believe in what you're doing, and they buy into the mission, and they buy into your story, and they go out and tell lots of people, or at least their close network of people, about what you're doing. And that's what you start with before you make a customer. Fans turn into customers, and fans bring customers. This is how you become resilient in business. This is how you get through recessions. This is how you get through all the ups and downs of business, is by creating a niche of customers. The best example I could think of is when you think about music. You look at a superstar singer, they have fan clubs. These are people that go on the internet and they fight other people that try to attack that artist. And that's the type of people you need. And with social media today, and Instagram and Facebook and all these different avenues where you can really see your fan base swell up, you can see who your fans are. So if you're running a business right now, which you already should be, or some form of making a customer, you should be looking for sifting through there and finding out who your fans are, who your super fans are, and then you niche down on them and you give them what they want. This also allows you to make very good decisions in your business. How do you know what products to sell? How do you know what to price them at? You look at your fans. What are they willing to pay? What's their lifestyle? Where are they spending their money currently? You're trying to really narrow down and understand who they are. You got to know who your customer is. If you come into my restaurant, there's a man that comes in every morning, Monday through Friday. He drops off his kids at the school across the street. He comes in for his cup of coffee that costs him $4 to $5. He's divorced. He drops the kids off. His wife picks him up, and he comes every single day. I know who that man is. He wears his Morehouse sweat top. And when he comes in, I greet him, I talk to him. You got to really understand your customer down to that level of detail. And when your business starts getting interrupted by all the things that go on in life, whether it be COVID, whether it be economic recession, or all the things that happen, like right now, as I'm talking to you in this particular time, there's a lot of layoffs in the government. My customers at one of my restaurants don't work. They're not a large government employee pool. So we're not affected by that. So people can say what they want about the news and the media, but I can tune it out because I know who my customers are. If my business is based in Washington, D.C., then guess what? That's going to be a big chunk of my business. And now I need to figure out what I'm going to do in terms of retaining my customers, or pivot the business so it can get through that process. Another thing you need to understand is trend stacking. People buy things in trends. I can't explain it. This is how people move. Most people are scared to make a purchase. You have to understand, the next thing you buy, you're buying the choice with the least amount of risk. People don't buy what they want. They buy the choices that are the least likely to be a fuck up. So McDonald's doesn't serve the best hamburger, but McDonald's is the most predictable experience. And they screw it up probably more than anyone else, but they've just honed in on 2 all beef patties, special sauce and cheese, and you pretty much can expect to see that. So if I go to another burger place where they may not have as much of a reputation, it's a risk in my mind, and I'm always going to go with where the safest choice is. So where we introduce trends are where the masses are flowing. When people don't know how to make good decisions, they look and see what everyone else is doing. If we visited a food court in Denver, we got off the flight, dropped down in Denver, went to a mall, went to the food court. If we don't see a recognizable brand, then we look and see where the crowd's at. If the whole crowd is over here at this Japanese place eating up this little like tender little chicken with the broccoli and the rice, guess what? We're all gonna head over to that area, if you know what I'm saying. So that's what trends are. Trends are where the crowd's moving. And you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to understand your industry. You have to understand what trends are going on. You look at media, you look at industry insight. For me, I read magazines like Nation's Restaurant News. I look at Twitter. I look at all the social media. I look at all where my customer base interacts and where they behave, and I try to see what are the trends. If you look at big brands like McDonald's and big fast food brands, spicy, when you see one brand does spicy, everybody does spicy. You see one brand does breakfast, everybody does breakfast. Look at the industry players in your market and look at what trends they're jumping on, and you got to jump on those trends. And then what you want to do is you want to trend stack. So trend stacking is essentially taking 1 to 3 trends and combining them together. And so in my industry, I might see, okay, spicy is trending. So I may come out with a spicy food item. I might see a particular food category that's trending. Maybe, well, we're in the brunch business. So brunch is obviously trending at the time we're in right now. So I might do a brunch trend. I might stack it with maybe some foods that are spicy if spicy is moving. And then obviously evergreen trend is health and fitness. So I may stack on there with some health and fitness ideas. And what you want to do as an entrepreneur is seamlessly blend those trends together. The more trends you stack, the higher probability of you being successful in that business. Trust me on that one. We got to understand a few more things. So in business, you got to be resilient. Business is tough. I think the statistic right now is 5 out of 10 businesses fail. I think it's probably higher, more close to 8, 9, 10 other businesses. Think about all the businesses that people just start a website or they invest some money, but they never get off the ground. So you have to put in some really hardcore tools that will make you indestructible in business. And so I call it land, labor, capital. So land, labor, capital means you have 3 things in a business to make it indestructible. The first one is land, connections. This is, if you go into the restaurant business, in my business, you got to have connections. You got to know people in the government, whether it be health department, whether it be permitting and these types of things. You have to have connections in the community. You got to know who's the who's who, who's the mover and shakers, who's going to get butts into seats, who are the influencers, real live influencers. You got to have connections with customers. You have to have connections with pretty much your vendors. You know, where do you get the best products? Where do you source the products for the best prices? These are the connections you need in a business. So the first thing you need in your business that you're in is connections, and that's networking, and that's people who know you and know that what you're about. The second thing you need is labor. Those are your skill sets. You need people that are very good at the jobs that you're performing. Whatever promise you're making to your customer, you need to deliver, and honestly, a lot of times over deliver. And so that's the skill sets. In our business, it's food, service, and atmosphere. We bring in a high level of skill in those 3 areas of food, service, and atmosphere. If you're in the makeup business, then it may be you're the best makeup artist, but you have to pretty much essentially establish what are the best skills that you can organize, whether through your employees or yourself, and be very, very good at that. So the second tool is labor, and the third tool is capital. You don't need all the money in the world, but you need enough money to finance that venture, manage it, and deploy it. And that's just understanding what the economics are around your business, your industry, and how do you create a roadmap where you don't run out of capital, where the money that's coming into your business, you're able to manage it and deploy it appropriately, pay people well, incentivize your key employees to keep them around, and create an environment where performance is a premium. So land, labor, and capital. So I'm running right through these, and hopefully they're helping. But I'll tell you a little story. So when I was a boy, I had a dream that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't have the tools. I didn't have entrepreneurs around me. I didn't understand what it was to be a businessman. I didn't understand that it took a certain level of going your own way, not taking the path of least resistance. A lot of times we look at our friends and we see that we want to go with the crowd. But you got to understand, separation is the beginning of elevation. The only way that you as a young man is going to grow is to be able to leave people behind, places behind, things behind that are going to slow down your growth, because you have to keep adding in new people, new opportunities, new frameworks. You got to grow. You did great into elementary school, but you got to get out of here and get into middle school. At a middle school, you got to get to high school. At a high school, you go to college. And if you remember those times when you had to graduate from each step, you had to leave some kids behind. When you left elementary school, some of those kids went to other districts. When you left from high school to college, a lot of your friends didn't go on to college. And so you have to really understand that separation is a form of elevation. And you're not leaving people behind, because you're building your own mission. And if people want to be a part of that mission, they can stick around. But if not, then they could just watch the show. So you have to understand that you have to create your own road, your own roadmap, your own trajectory. And then you got to get to work, my boy. You got to get to work, because the odds are you're going to be a failure. Most men, we're not women. Women are born with all their assets. And a woman's only job is to preserve what God gave her. Preserve her beauty, preserve her femininity, preserve all the things that made her God's gift to man. But as a man, you're born with nothing, zero. You don't have muscles, you don't have money. Maybe your dad leaves you a decent reputation and some decent genes. And if he ain't leave you one of those, you're fucked. Royally, respectfully. So essentially, if your dad's not Tiger Woods' dad, if your dad ain't Michael Jordan's dad, then you got to do it yourself. Pick yourself up by your own bootstraps and build a man out of yourself. And that's why you have to embrace your own masculinity. It starts with you. So getting back to the business. So we got to understand, once you're in business, there's 4 stages of business. You have the pre-opening. Think of it like a timeline. And every business falls in this timeline. And I'm talking to my entrepreneurs between 2 to 10 million, because that's our sweet spot, that we work with. The entrepreneurs we work with do between $2 to $10 million in revenue. And your business, whether you like it or not, is in one of these 4 places. You're either in pre-opening, opening, cash flow, or exit stage. Let's start with pre-opening, which is step 1. Pre-opening is, in our business, for the restaurant business, this is the beginning. We haven't opened our doors. We have a lease in place. We're hiring staff. We're testing out recipes. We're buying equipment. We're planning and interviewing. That's pre-opening. Pretty much that's when most of your capital is coming out. There's no cash flow coming in. There's no customers being built. You can start building up some buzz, which you should be doing, some pre-sales, getting some energy going towards making a customer, but you can't actually sell to a customer yet. Once you get out of pre-opening, you get into what we call opening, which is the chaos phase. Chaos phase is where most businesses, especially in my business restaurant, this is where they stay and they fail. Chaos phase can last for 6 months, a year, 10 years, but chaos phase is where everything's going fucking wrong. Everything's going wrong. You can't, the rent's coming due, you can't afford it. Bills are coming in, you can't afford it. You got customers coming and going. You don't understand how to make a customer yet. You haven't really developed a customer base. It's chaos phase. Your turnover's high. You're still looking for key people. And once you get through that chaos phase, through cash, you get into what we call cash flow, which is break even. That's your 3rd phase of business. When you get into break even, essentially that means the business is making enough cash that you're able to pay everyone, and you're pretty much like at the end of the month, you're just back at a break-even stage. Most people are looking for profitability, but you're actually not looking for profitability. You're looking for cash flow, because you can ride cash flow and scale that business much bigger. If I try to get profitability at a very early stage, and you can almost kill the business. There's no cash flow is the lifeblood of the business. So a lot of times when you own a business, people are always looking for profit. You can't get nothing out of nothing. You want to get cash flow. So cash flow means sometimes you got to give that business away at cost, the product away at cost. You're trying to get customers in the door. And you can start raising your margins as you get more customers. So I might start charging $50 and the product costs me $45, but I'm just trying to get volume. And as I get volume, I bring those prices up double. I go to $45 to $90. And then I go up from there, $90 to maybe another $100 to 150. But essentially, you're going to get to cash flow, which is break even. Once you get past break even phase, you get in what we call the exit phase, where you can either expand the business, you can sell the business, but this is where your business becomes an ATM machine. I've done this several times in the restaurant business. Trust me, it's a good time. It's the best time of the business you're going to enjoy, because you're paying everybody top price, so you don't have to be in the business as viciously as you used to be. You're able to fix things quickly. You're able to, sales heals all wounds. You're able to just run over most of the problems that happen to your business. Lawsuits, knock them out. You're able to get better quality experts, better quality support teams. And then a lot of times is when you're doing project number 2, number 3, or you're looking to maybe let the business run itself and put your key management in place. A busy looking business is a busy business. And I always say this, a busy looking restaurant is a busy restaurant. So this takes me back to an example of in New York, back in the 90s, you'd have club promoters that would partner up with a new club that would open up in New York. And what they would do is, this is a true story, they would turn the music up loud as hell on a Friday and Saturday night, lock the doors, and park limousines out front in front of the nightclub with the hazard lights on. And they would do that every Friday and Saturday night. And what happened is, in that city, in that area, people used to think it was the hottest club. They're like, yo, I can't get in. It sounds like it's packed. They got limousines outside. And what they understood inherently is a busy looking business, a business that looks busy, generally is a busy business. For me, when we're posting social media for the restaurant, we don't post empty rooms. We post rooms full of people. I don't care if it's a slow Wednesday. We're going to post a picture from Saturday where it was a line outside. But essentially, you have to understand, again, people move with crowds. If you have a business, you have to show people using your business. I can't stand when I see social media and I see no one using the products, no one lining up to get into a store, or metrics that shows how many followers or how many people have subscribed. These things all matter because people like to follow crowds. People don't want to take risks when they make purchases. They want to see how many other people have already done it. They take the risk out, so then they follow suit. So a busy looking business is a busy business. Part of that process of a busy looking business is understanding your customer journey. We have to understand the way consumers buy things. It starts here and it goes in a circle. Actually, scrap that. I don't want that. People buying categories. All right, I think I'm just going too scripty. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. What should I talk about now? I'm gonna cut all this up. I think
you did a great job.
You've been doing amazing.
Oh, you digging it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like it's informative. It's to the point. If I can give any suggestions, it's restate your top 3, 4 ways to make money. Like give your key points and see if you can bunch that up into like five
Quick ones.
Just quick ones, so that way you have that
Okay.
already sustained.
Okay.
But so far, it's been gold.
Okay, it's cool.
That, and I was gonna say, you should say that this is to close it out. Is probably mention how this is only one part of the bigger book you're writing. If you want to mention that, that's coming.
Okay.
So this is just one of the chapters. This is what chapter is this? The
Money.
chapter of the 6 M's. If you want to bring that in there.
Okay, got it. As a man, you have to understand there is a blueprint. We call it a recipe. In the restaurant business, we use recipes. And the great thing, I love this analogy because I can take one recipe and I can be in Toledo, Ohio. I can take that same recipe and take it to Miami Beach, and it's the same exact outcome. I mean, the best example I use is a pound cake. How do you make a pound cake? 1 pound of sugar, 1 pound of flour, 1 pound of butter. That's it. And so you can take that pound cake recipe and transfer it. So just like a recipe in food, there's recipes in life. There's recipes as a man that you can follow. The recipe we use are the 6 M's. First, we get our mindset right. Well, it's the 6 M's. Mindset, mission, mindset, mission, momentum, muscles, money, and mating. Mindset, discipline, Life is hard as a man. We already know what it's like. And there's no pot of gold for a man who doesn't do the work. The world accepts no man who doesn't do the work. All the rewards are for the man who works and proves himself as a man. Your mindset has to be that you're going to win, you're going to achieve at all costs. And it's going to take a tremendous amount of discipline. It's going to take a tremendous amount of focus and a tremendous amount of desire. So your mindset is number one, discipline. Number two, what is the mission? What is your purpose? As a young man, we don't have a purpose. You can't be 15 years old with a purpose, but you can create small things. The easiest way to figure out your mission when you don't have one is just figure out the problems in your life. It might be a small mission like losing 10, 15 pounds. That's a mission. Getting healthy. Your mission may be just go get a job. Just get on first base. Just get someplace where you can learn and earn. That's a mission. Putting together a resume, put together a professional appearance, and finding a place that you can thrive and win and build a small win. Your mission should be something that the best way I would look for and looking for your mission is figure out something that makes you angry. What makes you angry about yourself? What makes you angry about your community, your family, the neighborhood? Whatever that is, start with that. Because people, there's always this debate between doing what you love, your passion. I find that if you do what you're passionate about, generally you're going to get burnt out. Do it for 10 years. You ain't going to like it. It ain't going to be your passion no more. You want to do what makes you fucking angry because that's going to drive you. When a man is upset, he's going to go much further than if it makes him excited. Because you got to prove people wrong. You got to prove the world that they didn't get you right. They misdiagnosed who the fuck they thought you are. And as a man, you got to get angry about your life. You have to get passionate about your life. You got to get just fired up about who you are and don't let other people define who you are. So your mission is about what makes you angry. Your mission is about what people compliment you on. There's soft skills that you possess as a man that you may have inherited or you learned or you paid attention, and people compliment you on those things. And that's what you get passionate about. We don't get passionate about the work as a man. We get passionate about the reward. When I'm doing something that, for me, I'm in the food business and I do cook, I get passionate about people saying they enjoy the food. And so you want to create a mission around the things that you are good at, that people recognize that you're good at, not stuff that you think you're good at, things that are measurable. Like just because you're a good fucking talker doesn't mean anything. You need to find measurable hard skills, things that you're good at that you can measure, that you can get better at, that you can rate yourself from 1 to 10. And if you're at 4, you better find a way to get to 10 or get another thing. So what's the mission? What makes you mad? What motivates you? What gets you out of bed? The third thing is momentum. A mission without momentum is a car with no gas. A mission without momentum is a plane with no fuel. A mission without momentum is a body with no blood. You just a skin and bones and eyebrows. You got to understand, momentum it's energy. And if you know anything about energy is what it's what gets things moving. So if you got to establish what the momentum is going to, you have to just get momentum in what you're doing. Momentum is borrowed. If you don't have a mission and you don't have a momentum, then attach yourself to another man's mission and borrow his momentum and borrow his energy and his force. You become an asset in his thing. And then at some point either branch off or stay there and be an asset within his mission. So it's your mindset, your discipline. It's your mission and what your purpose is. The third thing is getting some momentum, put energy behind what your mission is. The fourth thing is muscles, which is health and wellness. Very important. If you are a man in business and you're successful, you get a toothache, it'll take you down. If you are a man who is a younger guy and you're performing against a guy who's older, who's not in shape, then you're going to outperform him. They say the youth is wasted on the young. You get a guy who's 50 years old, he has all this experience and he has the mental ability, but he doesn't have a physical ability. So it's your job to build your muscles, build up your fitness. Fitness, you got to think about your caloric intake, managing calories. We talk about weight loss and these type of things. It's just a math equation. Bring in less calories than you burn. We're talking about physical fitness. God gave you balls and he put testosterone in your balls. A lot of men who lack confidence lack testosterone. That's a fact. A lot of men who lack the ability to compete with other men have a testosterone issue. And you lose testosterone in a lot of different ways. Spending too much time with weak men, spending too much time with women, jerking off, eating a poor diet. These are all ways that you lose testosterone. And as you age, you also lose testosterone. So lifting up heavy shit and putting it down builds your testosterone. Also, mental health. You have to avoid stress. You can't manage stress. Stress is either in your life or it's out. True, stress is a form of, there's good stress and bad stress. You have good stress, just like if you're lifting weights. If my capacity to lift bench press 200 pounds, then good stress is 150 pounds, 175 pounds. But for me to be able to lift 200 pounds and do 500 pounds, that's not good stress. That's deadly. So it's the same mentally. You don't want to put yourself in environments where you're so stressed out, where you're essentially PTSD'd out. You know, these are guys that go away to war and they've just exposed themselves to things that are so extreme that they can't get back into the regular world and manage. You know, you're watching people get amazing things happen to them that you can't recover from. So these are the things you need to do. When we talk about muscles, it's all about your health and managing your health and being optimum. The fifth thing is your money, which is the conversation we're talking about today. Making money is about making customers. We already talked about that. And the sixth thing is mating. Mating is all about the women in your life, the relationships in your life, your family, your friends, and how you manage that. And in this world we're in, the masculine world, we give everybody what they earn. There's too many men who go out and they make something of themselves. They get their money together, they get their life organized, and then they find a woman, and then they end up falling off a cliff because they end up giving a woman everything that she hasn't earned just because she's pretty. Listen, you ain't the first, you won't be the last, my boy. So you have to understand that you come first, put yourself first. And the only way you can do that is by giving everybody what they earn, especially a woman. So then somebody's sitting here talking about, oh, Lorenzo, you sound like a pimp. You sound like you're taking advantage of women. Hell no. We're talking about if she's in your life, she needs to earn her position in your life. You've worked too hard to build up who you are as a man. You had to build up your muscles. You had to build up your financial situation. You had to build up your life. You had to make a life that was even worth attracting a woman. That takes a lot of fucking work, because think about where you started. And if you're a man that's continually building yourself up, think about the quality of women, the quality of a woman that you've attracted, and where the quality is now. Hopefully it's gotten better. And if it ain't, then you're doing a lot of things wrong. You're probably addicted to too much alcohol, too much drugs, jerking off too much, and not putting yourself first in any area of your life. But if you're putting yourself first and you're embracing your full masculinity, you need to demand that a woman that comes in your life brings something to the table. And it ain't her coochie. It ain't her kitty cat. If it's used, it's like a used car. Okay? So you have to demand it. You have to demand putting yourself first. You have to demand everyone has to invest. Your kids have to invest. Your kids have to invest. Yeah, your kids have to invest. All right, we'll make an exception. If the kid is 5 years old, they get a pass. But 7 years old, they got to have some chores. They got to have something to do. You got to give everybody they have to make a contribution. And the reason why is because people only respect what they earn. People only appreciate what they invest their time and their money in. Trust me. And we're in modern times. So previously, yeah, everybody talks about protection and provision. Women want protection and provision. But guess what? You ain't got to protect and provide for no woman no more. A woman's protected by the government. And if you don't believe me, a woman can walk out in Miami at 12 o'clock at night freely. And if anybody messes with her, there's going to be severe consequences. So a woman does not need your protection in 2025, and she don't need your provision. She's got money, and women actually make on average more money than men in America right now. So they don't need your money. And not to mention, if you know any woman, she's getting money from multiple sources. If she's divorced, she's getting it from her ex-husband. If she has a job, she's getting it from there. Her parents are probably kicking down. She's got a boyfriend that's probably kicking a little bit in. She can borrow money from her girlfriends, the government assistance, and all the different scholarships and these types of things. So a woman does not need your provision or your protection. So what does that leave for you in your relationship with a woman is you're giving her your masculinity. Either you're going to do it in a positive way or a negative way. The negative way is paying to play, spending all your fucking money, emotionally attaching to a woman who hasn't earned it, playing this weak position where you're constantly trying to jump through hoops with the woman, or you can do it from a position of strength where you know as a man, you're bringing your masculinity to the table. You're bringing your alpha energy to the table. Because trust me, every woman wants a piece of a man's masculine energy. And if you haven't performed that type of energy around a woman, then you'll never know what it feels like. But put it this way. You ever walk into a bar and you see a guy who's got the nice watch and he pulled up in a nice car and he gets to that bar and that fucking bartender takes all the attention away from that girl that pulls up to that bar? That's called masculine energy. The bartender's standing with his fucking chest out, taco meat, fucking chain, and his swag is up because everybody's trying to get his attention. You can take that bartender and put him on the side of the bar and he'd be a customer. He wouldn't even have all that energy. So you have to understand that the reason why that rich guy can pull up with the Ferrari on valet, bring his girl up to the bar, and his girl literally breaks fucking attention and puts all her attention on the bartender because the bartender is exuding masculine energy. Women cannot resist masculine energy. And it's your job as a man to build it, harness it, and fucking project it in everything you do. Stop leading with your wallet. Stop leading with all your things, stuff confidence. And I get it, man. As a man, it's hard to have natural confidence. The whole world tells you your ego's too big. The whole world tells you that you're toxic What the fuck is toxic masculinity? Please explain it to me. So we're going to kill a myth right now. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. The only thing toxic about masculinity is if you ain't got none. Because a man with no masculinity is a man who wants to achieve more, he wants more, and he feels helpless. That's what toxic masculinity is a man who's helpless. A man who sees a woman that he wants, but he doesn't understand his power on how to get her. So he pays for it, or he DMs her. Can't even walk up and talk to her. That's toxic. Toxic masculinity is a man who's in environments where people are constantly taking advantage of him because he feels he's supposed to take care of these people around him. Kids who are fucking disrespectful. You got with a girl, y'all had a baby, and then now she uses the baby as a weapon against you. That's toxic masculinity because you're afraid to assert your masculinity. Fuck them kids, respectfully. Those kids will find they daddy. You keep sending money. You send a text, you check in on them, but essentially you have to maintain your masculinity as a man. It is your priority. It is God's gift to man. God made man first. If you believe in the Bible, and we all believe in the Bible because we're God-fearing men, God's with us all the time. God made man from clay, from dirt. And then God said, listen, man, you look pretty lonely. You need a helpmate. You need somebody that's out here helping you build because we're here to build things. He put Adam to sleep, took his rib, and created a woman. Woman is made for man. So how the hell you got all these men out here catering to women when women were made for a man? You got all these men out here who putting a woman first. If you put a woman first, where's God go? It's God first, then you, then a woman. If you take it out of order, that's why you look at these guys that are simping. You look at these guys that are spending all this money. I'm here in Miami. I see all these guys with all this stuff confidence. And they're promoting it and they're exuding it. And the minute you take their stuff confidence away, they can't even tell a woman what the ground rules of just dealing with them. You got guys paying for women. You got guys who are begging women to be around. You got guys crying, committing suicide, fighting, beating up a woman. Bro, toxic masculinity is fighting a woman because you don't want her to leave. Let her go. It's her loss. Respectfully. It's your job to lead with your alpha energy. It's your job to lead with all the things the gifts that God gave you as a man. God gave us one gift. It was our masculinity. And our masculinity has allowed us to be the most dominant species on the earth. Like it or not, we can beat diseases. We can beat all I know is up to the point when man came on Earth, there wasn't shit here but plants. Now we got skyscrapers. We got technology. We're about to go to Mars. We can't even live in outer space. We're not even designed to live outer space. We're creating technology so that we can actually exist in environments that we're not even supposed to be in. Oceans, skies, whatever. These are the things that God gave man, but God gave man his masculinity so he can create these things. Everything around you is created by a man. This microphone was created by a man. We love our women, but our women were made for us as men. So you have to really understand mating and put it in its proper place. Your family is here to serve you. You have a kingdom. You build your kingdom. That's why we don't do the whole in this masculine world, we don't do the whole build together thing. That doesn't work. You build with a woman, or you're gonna end up with a feminine version of whatever you were trying to do. If you build a business with a woman, all you're gonna end up with a business that's feminized version of whatever you decided you want to do. So if you want to gangster that, then you just build a feminine business and let your woman do the dominant work, and you fuel it with masculine energy, which is ingenuity, creativity, toughness, stick-to-itiveness, like just a sheer determination. You put that into that business, and you let her build a business that's more feminine and social and appeals to all these things that women like. I mean, men and women are built differently. Men are from Venus, women are from Mars, whatever way you say it, that's how it is. And we have to understand, as a man, you have a certain responsibility to run your life where you're in a position of power, where you can build a life that's independent of everyone and everyone's invited into your life. And your cutoff game got to be strong as fuck. Not because you're a ruthless bastard, it's because you have to protect what you built. If you're a man at 15 and it takes you 10 years to get to 25, and you've had to build up your muscles, build up your financial position, build up your reputation, build up your name, build a business. At 25 to 30, you invite a woman into your world. She comes into your kingdom. And when she's invited into the kingdom, there's a one door, one way in, one way out. And when she comes in, you give her the rules and you tell her what the schedule is and how this is going to go. And then she decides whether she wants to stay there or she wants to go. And if you can't run your life like that, then you're going to be like a lot of these sorry guys out here who are divorced, where a woman takes their kids and weaponize their kids against them. You're going to be like a lot of these guys who commit suicide. Did you know 90% of divorces are initiated by college-educated women? 90%. That means, I'm not saying 90% of people get divorced. I'm saying 90% of once a couple decides that they're going to get divorced, 9 times out of 10, it's the woman who's highly educated, which are the better quality women. We don't chase hoes. We get women who have built something out of themselves. But if you go out and you find a woman, she's a quality woman, she went to school, has a great family, all the things that you look for in a woman, good quality, good mom, is 9 times out of 10, if you guys break up, she's going to initiate the divorce. So you're fucked if you don't organize your life in such a way that you have a kingdom. She invites herself into your kingdom, and there's rules to be in that kingdom, then you're inviting yourself to destroy everything you built, period. So it's your job as a man to make sure that you build it and maintain it. Everybody has to make a contribution. Your kids have to make a contribution. Men, let's talk about that. We're men. We're not children. Boys hang around with boys. Boys watch basketball games and go to the park and play and wrestle and stuff like that. If you're inviting a man into your life, you guys got to be on a mission building process together. That means every man that you deal with as an adult needs to be on your mission or you're on his mission, period. If you guys don't have a shared mission, this is when you deal with what's called betrayal. A man that doesn't share the mission with another man is a man that will sleep with his wife. A man that doesn't share a mission with another man is a man that will fuck him over money. A man that doesn't share a mission with another man is a man that will take advantage of a man and go off and do something else where he's pretty much drained that man of resources or time or his efforts. You have to find people that are men that are mission builders. And we're mission builders every day. So if I'm out, I meet a man, it's a respect factor because we're men. I meet a man, I'm a network. How you doing? And then if I don't, it's kind of like a quick on-the-job interview. I'm going to exchange a lot of information. We're going to share ideas. If I can't find initially a shared mission with that man, I dap him up. It was nice meeting you and send him on his fucking way. You have no reason to spend time with a man who's not on your mission. You can pay mission builders. You know, if you're trying to get fit, you freaking find somebody who's you can pay to train you. You can pay consultants. So you can pay people to join your mission. You can grow people into your mission, find mentees. You can find people who are younger, who are savvy, that want to grow, put them into your mission. But essentially, if you're dealing with another man, he's got to be on the same mission as you, or you have to be committed to his mission. How am I doing? All right? Savage.
Yeah. How much time do we have with it?
Well, it was only till 4.
Okay, because it's 4:08. That's why.
Oh, I'm done. Wrap it up. All right, cool. So listen, Lorenzo White's Restaurants, hit the subscribe button. Let me know. Make a comment below. Hit the share button. I need you to spread the message. It's about men's masculinity. It's about a man embracing who he is. God put you here on this earth for a reason, to build something, make something of yourself. You start here and you go to here. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. There's men that weren't born that wish they were born. There were men who were born in another country that wish they were where you are. You have to take all the things, all the opportunities, all the small assets that God gave you, and you stack them and you build them until you create something so amazing. You gotta surprise yourself, my boy. Let's go. Kings build kings. Let's get it, Alpha. Lorenzo White's Restaurants. We got the book on the way, The 6 M's of Manhood. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the future.